So I'm heading to the studio now, walking along a narrow street in Surry Hills. It's a suburb in Sydney's inner city. Here we are, this is it, the door to Brett Whiteley Studio, the place where one of the country's most celebrated artists lived and worked for 7 years. Walking through Brett's studio, I can't help but wonder what happens when we visit these preserved spaces. And through preserving them, do these spaces become more or less real?
My name's David Eastwood, I'm an artist.
I met up with David at Brett's studio. As a PhD student, he explored the afterlife of artists' studios, preserved as museum spaces after their deaths. And of course, there are loads of artist studios like Brett's around the world, like Picasso, Rodin, Delacroix in Paris, Francis Bacon in Dublin. And because he's researched quite a few of them, I put it to David, how real are these spaces?
Well, it's certainly got an aura to it. I mean, that's one of the things about posthumously preserved artist studios. You're meant to feel this sense of the artist's presence. And the fact that this is a space that he decorated himself and artefacts of his are left behind, the postcards all over the walls and the little inscriptions and so forth. There is certainly a palpable presence being inhabited by an individual who's no longer here, but his presence remains in what he's left behind. I encounter these places with a slight sense of suspicion, like I'm being hoodwinked by museum curators into feeling something or thinking something. And there is always an element of stage managing that you're aware of. In various artist studios, the unfinished work is an important aspect of revealing something about the artist's process. It creates this emotional connection for some people because when they walk into the studio and see an unfinished work, it contributes to that feeling that the artist has just left and could come back at any moment. And that's an observation that a lot of people make when they walk into posthumously preserved artist studios. There's this sense of keeping their memory alive, like they're just around the corner and could return.